Since nothing major happened, we'll just continue with the story. Also, there's a new map on Reddit, check the description below.
More strength.
I'll go ahead.
This zombie right here is Davik Nettle. This place is named after him for making a bridge, but the Staglord unfortunately killed him and he wants us to be his proxy in taking revenge. For those who saw my roadmap on Reddit, this is where the rope comes in handy. In this place our heroes are just exploring some lowland, and as they go deeper into the thicket they soon found themselves inside a swamp, with huts and strange statues. We left the shelter with nothing and walked even further, hoping that there's more to loot, but suddenly the vines around us started to move, so we dashed out as fast as we could. After that long journey, we finally saw something interesting. Gogantag herself showed me a vision, and explained why there were no boggards in the swamp anymore, and for my troubles she gave me a hint as to where an emerald is hidden.
Stand against me.
In the roadmap, you have to get these fangberries last before returning to Oleg's trading post, so that when you give these to Buchan, they're still fresh. When you return to the trading post, Oleg will give you another mission, in which Amory is eager to do. She wants to kill this wild boar, so we'll let her.
Tread lightly.
After giving those radishes to Buchan you can ask why he needs them, although surprisingly he's actually caring. Those radishes have healing properties and he wants Oleg to eat them to alleviate backaches. As for the fangberries, he needs them for his food to have any flavor. Apparently, old age has not been kind to his tongue.
Let us be careful, tired.
Harem's story is weird. When you think about it, he's actually an emo dwarf priest. His god is named Groidus. It's probably another demon that eats souls, but it's interesting that he served a different god before, named Torug, which has all the qualities of a medieval fantasy dwarf that we commonly know today. Since Torug is a god of creation, his followers are pressured to create something, but Harem here failed to make even nails for buildings, so he gave up and converted to a priest of Groidus. He left his homeland and somehow found an old church and he started to go crazy from there. Then we talk about his homeland. He still loves it though despite changing his religion. It has a sky citadel which sounds very impressive, especially when it's commonly known for most dwarves to live in fortresses and underground cities. Jaethal here was formerly a noble, but then people found out that she was a serial killer, so she got arrested. Apparently her god, Urgathawa, one of those gods of death, gives her some power every time she kills someone. For her crimes she was exiled, although, that punishment was not enough, and not too long after she was assassinated by unknown entities, but her god liked her so much she got revived and now she's a zombie. Since her assassins are still after her, she came to Restov to seek asylum, although, the mission to reclaim the stolen lands was interesting enough for her as well. For now, even though she's obviously evil, I try to be accommodating, because just as I've said before, the theme of the story is redemption. Anyone can change for good or become more evil. I love how Alcat made so much possibilities in this game. Although, unfortunately, having an evil ending only gets you many bad end slides. It would have been nice to have something in the gray area as well, but thankfully the good endings are worth striving for. So Jaethal in the future can be converted into good. Hey, Kessin, the thing about Tartuccio is that he asked for it, and I got carried away. So now, he's dead.
Well, this is not the best outcome, but I think it will be good enough for Jamandi. Take this as a reward for your help. I'll send word to Restov, and let them consider how they might return the favor. Once again, I thank you for your help. I'll remain here until my men recover from their wounds. Meanwhile, we'll help guard the trading post and fight off any bandits should they return. Good luck in all your plans and endeavors.
is clear.
Kressel is one of those bandits earlier that tried to extort Oleg, but Svetlana asked to keep her alive, even though she stole her wedding ring. Yahad here is another one of those delusional priests, although, at least he's kinder and less emo than Harem. He was held hostage by those bandits earlier, but now he's free.
One shouldn't brag about a big sword if they
It may
can't
look like I
carry
was
one.
skipping something, but the travel and dungeon crawling was just long and not important to the story, so we skip to where Emery
I'm
fights off that
listening.
wild boar. She reveals that a new member of a tribe should give an offering to the chief by hunting down a monster. She's done it before in her tribe, but none respected it because of sexism. I don't doubt her capabilities, in fact she's the best fighter in this party, so let's just have fun watching her beat up this boar.
Running won't help you!
And with that, the ceremony is complete. She's now a member of my tribe, but at the same time I'm apparently a chief now as well.
The path is clear.
Of course, that monster had a bounty as well, so don't forget to talk to Oleg about it.
I'll go ahead.
How may I
Jihad
serve
here can
you?
also serve as a merchant, although if you're damaged and near him, he'll heal you for free.
That's why I'm here.
So, what's the mission, Jihad?
Find the Temple of the Elk. I've pieced together its location from what I can remember of my visions. I have a rough idea of where to look for the sanctuary, somewhere in the North Nile marshes. However, I don't possess the strength to walk this path myself. Do not reject my plea, good traveler, and I'll repay you as best I can. In these dark times, people rarely help each other without compensation. May Erastil forgive us all. But I am sure my healing abilities will be useful to you. How may I serve you?
I would like to interrogate you, since you're still a stranger.
My story? Why not? You deserve to know it. I am a priest of Erastil, and Galt is my homeland. You can imagine what it's like following the teachings of the Stag God in a realm torn by discord and strife. Rebellion and suspicion are the pillars of Galt. Led by Erastil, I tried to guide my flock to embrace tranquility and balance and guard them from hasty judgment, until I fell from grace myself. Foolish, foolish old Jihad. My misdeeds cast a shadow over my life and service. In search of redemption and a balm for my soul, I took to the road. I had come nearly to despair when Erastil sent me a vision of the Temple of the Elk. I knew that very moment that the Stag God had shown me the way to redemption.
Okay, so how did you piss off Erastil then?
Well, if you truly wish to know, I'll have to start from the long time back. Werewolves preyed upon the lands around my village. They murdered people for fun or sport and left the corpses to rot on the roads. One night, they broke into a young woman's house and dragged her into the streets. One evening, a traveler came to our tavern, tattered and dirty from days on the road, like so many others roaming Galt. He sat quietly in the corner of the tavern, drinking cheap ale, and in an instant, I knew he was a werewolf. I felt it in my soul. It was like Erastil himself had whispered it into my ear. Led by Providence, I left to gather my flock, and we surrounded the tavern. The retribution was swift. However, I was tragically mistaken. The young man was no werewolf. He was a bandit, sent to spy on the village by one of the local gangs. We only found out after, when we went through his things.
A bandit is less dangerous but still dangerous, right? Why are you too ashamed of it?
That's still no excuse for my actions. I was a fool. I made a grave mistake. And what's worse, in the eyes of my flock, I cast doubt on Erastil's greatness. A priest who can barely hear the voice of his god is a disgrace to his lord and himself, and corrupts the very people he would save. Whatever the case, I knew Erastil was no longer pleased with me. It was terrifying. Imagine how my mind raced when here in the Stolen Lands I heard the voice of the Stag God once again. He gave me another chance at service to atone for my guilt. Now I have regained hope, and that very hope is my most precious possession. For some it is a land of freedom, where power belongs to the people, not to lords or kings. For others, it's a land of never-ending revolution, a realm surrendered to anarchy. It depends on who you ask. For me, I found Galt a violent place. Crowds eager to lynch a stranger for that accent or appearance, where a single word uttered at the wrong time or place can spark the people to riot and cities to burn. For me, it is a place inhabited by the frightened and the desperate, always suspicious, watchful of trickery. All too often they are deaf to the voice of reason. They cannot grasp that chaos and lawlessness lead only to yet more chaos and lawlessness. All my life I've tried to break through to these poor people, but alas, I don't seem to have made much progress.
That's all for now.
As you wish.
Oh yeah, tell me about Erastil. He seems like a good god.
Of course, it would be my pleasure. Erastil is one of the eldest gods of Golarion. His faith emerged when the first people appeared upon the land. Erastil helped our ancestors cultivate the land and hunt. Even now, his blessing lies with those who uphold the old traditions and keep to simpler ways, far from civilization and the noise of the city.
Well, cities aren't that bad, right? There's so much good in progress and development.
Tell that to the peasant robbed of all he owns, spending his night in the gutter, hoping to live to see the sunrise. You won't see such things in a village.
Fair enough. As much as I want to boast in making the grandest city in the world, that's not going to register well in your head anytime soon.
I'm glad to hear you agree. These days, many are deaf to the wisdom of generations.
So what does Erastil demand of his followers?
The word demand does not befit the Stag God. Honesty and friendship, loving families, merry weddings, and newborn children in their mother's arms, they bring a smile to Erastil's face. He loves his people and rewards them with fortunate hunts and plentiful harvests. But he has no temper for sloth and vanity. He never bestows gifts upon his faithful without first measuring their worthiness. We ourselves must win our daily bread, but the Stag God comes to our aid in times of need and strife.
Sounds cool, despite how rabid Erastilites can be in Galt.
I see it more clearly every day. Erastil himself led me to meet you. Your keen spirit will serve you well. I am happy to help.
After giving Svetlana her ring back, she reveals that Kressel was her half-sister. Yahad gave us this location and now Ghost Lady wanted to show the Staglord's past. Apparently he was abused in his younger days, but one day he stood up for himself and now rules the Stolen Lands. With the magic of his father he was able to envelop his territory with this magic fog that got us stuck here.
The path is clear.
Although, it's nonsense how this druid got physically overpowered, but then again, dear boy might have found something that makes him immune to acid and magic.
I have been waiting for you. The flowers, birds, and wind told me you would come. Oh, my poor flowers. They will perish before long in this bog.
Not many have heard a voice from above, and fewer still are those who followed it to a positive outcome.
Well, since not everyone can see or hear the ghost lady, I was hoping to get to know you more at least. Since, Valerie has a point.
Do you really wish to know? Fine. I'll tell you a fairy tale. Once upon a time, there lived a young nymph. She lived in an enchanted forest, where 1,000 birds sung day and night, where the sun often left a spark or two hanging in the tree crowns, and where the starlight fell on sleepy glades like a glowing soft haze. The young nymph loved simple things, like sitting by the stream with her friends, braiding each other's hair and adorning their braids with crystals made of dew, or watching the flowers blooming. But inside her soul, the young nymph dreamed of something more. Oh, dreams. Nothing in any world can live without them. Even a seed that falls in fertile soil cannot sprout without the dream of the sun. The same was true for our nymph. She wished to turn her enchanted forest into a true fairy tale kingdom and fill it with thousands of wonders. But plans so ambitious rarely go unnoticed by greater powers. Those greater powers decided to punish the nymph for her boldness. They sent a horrible monster to poison the enchanted forest and kill the singing birds. The nymph was forced to flee, and finally she found shelter here in the stolen lands. Here she hoped to sprout the seeds of a new dream, even as she mourned the dream she'd lost. But then the magic mist appeared, killing everything that lived. And the nymph cast about, desperately searching for help. So far, these are the fairy tale's final words. But I hope this is not the end. Just yet.
So, what's this monster? Maybe I can slay it?
One day, perhaps I will tell you more. But it doesn't matter now. We need to concentrate on the problems at our doorstep. The Staglord, the Druid, the Mist.
I saw his past though, I guess that's how he came to be.
Yes. The soil, water, and stones here are infused with toxic pain and fear. They poison this place as we speak. You have seen where your enemy's journey began. The one called Staglord was once the victim of a cruel madman, and has since become one himself. You see now how monsters are born. What comes of regret for a thing you cannot change? There is no time to be lost. We must do away with the fog quickly.
And how do we do that?
Search the area around the hut. Try to find anything that remained of the druid who lived here. I am sure the fog is his doing. This suffocating veil is as vicious as his nature. We should learn more about the fog and the ritual through which it was created. Return to me if you find anything. The past may hide the answers that shape the future. I will be waiting. You come again. Did you find something?
Yeah, found his notes.
An ancient temple. The temple of the Stag God. Yes, that must be it. The place of power where the druid created the fog. Perhaps we'll be able to cleanse it from there. The temple hides in the thicket not far from here. You will need to go there and purge the place of whatever evil still lingers there, summoned by the druid's sinister ritual. Take care. You are my only hope.
More strength.
I'm hungry.
Thanks.
When we stop.
Watch each other.
What a surprise.
Your aid came at just the right time, stranger. My name is Tristian. I'm a priest of merciful Sarenrae. Another moment, and I fear I would have been on my way to her chambers, somewhat earlier than my destiny requires.
A Sarenrae fanatic. Talk about people I'd be just as happy not seeing for the next 1,000 years.
Lucky for you, an imp told me about this place. I was on a mission to break this cursed fog by killing that bear, so you're welcome.
I have never spoken to nymphs, but I believe their assessment is accurate. The creatures occupying this temple are far from ordinary animals. The power that moved them here is related to the fog. The beasts hold the fog as anchors hold a ship dancing in the waves. From what I can tell, once the beasts are defeated, the fog should begin to clear.
So, do you need help healing those wounds?
I am a priest of Sarenrae, and a skilled healer. I have done all I can, but it will take some time for my strength to return in full. But worry not. I will make my way to the trading post nearby, and wait there as I make my recovery. I was investigating this fog. I believe you have already discerned that it is magical in nature. I serve Sarenrae, goddess of sunlight. Discovering an evil magic that isolated living creatures from the sun alarmed me in no small way. I was able to locate the place the fog originated from, but was too presumptuous and almost got into the beast's teeth.
Well, I already dealt with the beast, so...
Praised be Sarenrae. Now, if my knowledge serves, the fog should weaken and eventually clear entirely. We need only wait. Perhaps somewhere more hospitable? You've saved my life, and I wish to repay good with good. I will gladly aid you in your journeys. Alas, my wounds won't allow me to join you right now. I will travel to the trading post. I hope to be able to repay you for my life once I recover from these wounds.
Since the fog was gone, Ghost Lady now reveals the Staglord's location. Although, for some reason that's all the help she could give, but we will see each other again after this.
Let's head out.
How may I serve you? Erastil be praised, you finally returned, my good friend. Tristian told me how you helped him at the Temple of the Elk. Thank you for heeding my request. My heart is calm and filled with confidence that I've followed the will of my God. I would like to reward your bravery. I possess no treasure, but please, take this as a token of appreciation.
So, what do you think about your vision now that it's fulfilled?
I trust in their truth. These visions, they were the voice of Erastil himself, quiet but clear. Before all this happened, I believed Erastil had turned his back to me, but now I see clearly. He has shown me divine mercy, for he has led me to you and invited me to aid in a fellow priest's deliverance. Lady Sarenrae and Erastil walk the paths of the gods hand in hand, and so must their servants as well. Tristian is undoubtedly still very young, and youth is a time of naivete and confusion. But I see kindness and strength of spirit in him, traits indispensable to a priest. I sense that all that's transpired thus far is only the beginning, and the future promises great things for Tristian and for you. This is why Erastil led me to the Temple of the Elk. Day and night I pray for you and for my young friend. May the stag god lead you down the true path. As you wish.
These people are slavers. If you're evil enough you can make deals with them later, but since I'm chaotic good, I have no qualms in kicking their asses.
Victory! Let us strike as one! You never had a chance. Your life, fleeting.
I'll go ahead.
Can you make an epic pose? I need it.
As epic as enlarged person looks, it really is detrimental to get blocked by doodads.
Serves you right.
Onwards!
This couple over here is going to be our new companions. They were enslaved by Kalina, but before executing this criminal we were able to get some info about this Technic League and how they operate. Like, see that? That's a giant elf sorcerer with a sword. I just need full plate armor and teleportation and I'm done. It's going to look more epic making the king of the wild hunt in this game.
Let us be careful.
Now, this is a surprise. I'm on my way to pay the Staglord a visit, and I don't expect it to be a friendly one. How about we go together? I'd appreciate some help during the fight.
So how did the Staglord get into your bad side?
I used my head finally. I grew up in Restov, choking on hypocrisy. The Aldori make like these brave, noble defenders of justice. But they're afraid to do so much as bark at Shatova. The Staglord, he seemed different. Mighty, menacing, like a huge wave rolling toward the shore. He said he'd build a new kingdom here, and anyone brave enough to fight under his banner would get a new life. But now? Now he just sits in his fortress, drinking away and plumbing his bedroom pillows for some queen of his. Though, I can't say if she's real or just a symptom of his drunken delirium. I trusted him,
In his name, I almost got Svetlana killed. The only living soul who's been kind to me. I was wrong, and I want to right that wrong with my own hands. I will free these lands of Staglord.
Since you're familiar with this place, what's the plan?
What's the plan? A fight's a fight. They'll let me and anyone with me inside the fort. No questions asked. Once we're in there, we call out the Staglord and tell him it's time to demonstrate his royal ambitions.
Well, that's a terrible idea. Let me assassinate some people while scouting the area first, then we'll fight the Staglord together.
Fine. Just don't take long.
I'll go ahead. I'll go ahead.
Anything else?
Akiros here is a bandit. He used to be religious and somewhat good, but he lost his way, although using the diplomacy check is far better since you gain XP rather than knowing his story by appealing to his religion.
We will prevail!
I go down!
Dovin is another bandit, and all I can say is that his secret treasure is not worth the trouble he causes later.
What wretched wine did you bring me? My stomach is twisting up.
Sorry, it seems OBS had trouble recording this. As much as I want to blame this on bugs, it's my fault for not double-checking the recordings.
I won't let you take them from me.
Serves you right.
But strangely enough, only that part was glitchy. There was no problems when I played this, and the recording just stabilized when the fight actually happened.
What a waste. I can't. Oh, after so long, I learned to stand. Oh, spare me your compassion, your judgment. I'll sleep now. I'll wait for her. My dream. Oh!
I believed in you so much, Staglord. And now?
Let us be
you're just a
careful.
dead sack of bones.
Rest in peace, Davik. Unfortunately, the next recordings were all glitchy, and yes, from the Staglord to where I am now, I was already using the 20 GB update. It was full of bugs and glitches, so if anyone advises you to continue the game after there's an update, it's a terrible advice. You're better off reinstalling and replaying the game from the start to avoid this shit entirely. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.